Stunned and speechless, the silver-haired boy was fired from the guild. In that moment, he lost his only home and was left completely alone. The words were a cold, final verdict. "You're done here." With that phrase, the life he knew was instantly erased by those he once trusted. Reality wouldn't sink in. A single, stunned sound of disbelief was the only response his mind could form. The one who cast him out was Judel, the guild leader. With a cold smirk, he gave his cruel reason: "You're dead weight around here." Judel coldly dismissed him as a boy who just plays with weapons. Hearing this, the boy's shock finally broke, replaced by a flare of anger. He tried to explain his logic, that weapons have limits. But his advice had always been rejected by his teammates, who twisted his careful warnings into annoying complaints. With a defiant look, he revealed the truth. The weapons they used so carelessly were his own creations, perfected by his own hands. But the leader was unmoved. He arrogantly dismissed the boys' contribution, claiming all their success came from his own ability, not the weapons. The leader then revealed his cold, financial motive. It was simply cheaper to buy from shops. With the guild's approval, he delivered his final, cruel insult, branding the boy a parasite. As the final, heartless judgment was delivered, that he was nothing but a nuisance, the boy's hand clenched, his silent fury warring with the pain of total betrayal. The boy's pained silence finally broke, not with a plea, but with a stunning, confident warning. The guild would collapse without him. Judel met this sudden defiance with a disbelieving scoff. His serious warning was met with a single, unified response from the guild, a storm of mocking laughter. To them, his confidence was simply a ridiculous joke. Realizing words were useless against their mockery, he came to a calm decision. With quiet finality, he accepted his fate and turned to walk away. As he departed, he offered no curse, only a quiet statement of fact. His final, ominous words were left to hang in the air, leaving them to face the future he had warned them about. The leader offered a final, mocking farewell from his throne. Then, with a heavy slam of the door, the life the boy had known was irrevocably over. Officially cast out, Makina the blacksmith was now unemployed. Alone under an open sky, he faced the uncertain start of a brand new journey. Alone in the town square, the weight of being an abandoned blacksmith settled in. But after a sigh, a new resolve took its place. From now on, he would live freely, only for himself. He wasn't truly alone on this new path. Turning to the masterwork weapon on his back, he spoke to his greatest creation and partner, Ifrit, certain it shared his new resolve. But back at the guild, the leader's decision had already fractured their unity. One loyal member erupted in fury, condemning the betrayal of a comrade who had faced death alongside them. Just as he resolved to leave, a desperate shout stopped him in his tracks. In their struggle, he instantly recognized a familiar injustice, the same he had just endured. The source of the cries was a trio of adventurers in an alleyway. Their cruel justification for tormenting their victim was simple. They were just bored. His initial disgust turned to stunned shock. The bullies proudly announced their affiliation as they tormented the girl. They were members of his former guild, the Silver Wing. The girl's terrified rejection was met with cruel threats. As she tried to flee, the Silver Wing members moved from words to violence, physically accosting her. Unable to stand by and watch his former guild's cruelty, he finally intervened. Stepping into the alley, his voice cut through the tension as he confronted them directly. His question became a cold, firm command to release the girl. The bullies, not recognizing the craftsman they'd just exiled, met his order with rage and defiance. Instead of answering, he made a stunning accusation. As the guild's former blacksmith, he knew every true member's face, and they were fakes. His quiet confidence shattered their bravado, leaving only sputtering rage. Enraged at being exposed, the imposters drew their weapons to silence him. Unfazed, the blacksmith calmly activated a unique skill, preparing to analyze their blades. His skill instantly analyzed their equipment down to the last detail. Seeing nothing more than ordinary, worn-down weapons, his confidence was absolute as he declared the fight already over. Enraged by the blacksmith's declaration, the impostor ignored the warning and attacked in a blind fury. But the blacksmith met the blow, his calm defense effortlessly halting the furious assault. The moment the axe made contact, it shattered into pieces. The attacker was sent flying, effortlessly overpowered by the blacksmith, who knew the weapon's precise breaking point. Without a moment's hesitation, the second impostor lunged into the fray. The girl they had been tormenting could only watch, her eyes wide with disbelief and awe at her defender's unexpected power. To meet the next attack, the blacksmith finally drew his own creation. The legendary flame sword Ifrit ignited in his hands, its overwhelming power leaving the impostors frozen in pure terror. The sight of the object on his chest brought a dawning horror to the impostors. It was an official Silver Wing Guild badge, proof that the boy they'd angered was the real deal. Seeing the guild badge and the legendary weapon, the rescued girl came to a stunning, yet mistaken, conclusion. She identified him by the famous title belonging to his rival, Judel the Flame Sword. The moment the name Judel was spoken, the impostor's bravado vanished. Mistaking him for the famed guild leader, they fell to the ground in a desperate plea for their lives. Quickly understanding their mistake, he decided to play the part. He sternly dismissed the impostors, using the fearsome reputation of his rival to end the conflict without another blow. Once the impostors fled, the rescued girl looked at him with clear recognition. She called him not by the guild master's name, but with an affectionate familiarity that left him utterly stunned. A memory of their first meeting came to her. Overjoyed, she confirmed she recognized him by his white hair, but the blacksmith himself remained completely bewildered, with no memory of the girl before him. As he stared at her joyful expression, the fog in his memory finally cleared. With a jolt of recognition, he uttered the name he now remembered. Arya. With his memory returned, she joyfully confirmed it all. They were childhood friends, separated for 3 long years. She proudly showed off how much she'd grown, leaving the blacksmith flustered by the sudden, energetic reunion. Overhearing the reunion, the impostors' terror curdled into rage as they realized the devastating truth. He wasn't Judel. At the same time, Arya had her own sheepish realization. Her mistake was the cause of it all. Seeing the situation spiraling into absurdity, the blacksmith tried to make a hasty retreat. But the impostors, enraged by their own humiliation, shouted a ridiculous demand. They wanted their groveling apology back. Their comical anger immediately exploded into a genuine, furious assault. All attempts at retreat forgotten, the blacksmith met their renewed rage with a cold glare, ready to point out the irony of being called a pretender by them. Throwing their own insult back at them, he finally unleashed his power. A single, sweeping arc of the mighty flame sword was all it took to end the fight for good. The result of his single swing was absolute. With screams of terror, the impostors were violently blown away, the force of the blow shattering both them and the alley wall. His opponents were left utterly broken, their final thoughts questioning how a pretender could be so strong. But there was no triumph for the blacksmith, only the immediate, worried regret that he had gone too far. In the aftermath, his concern was not for his enemies, but for his craft. He carefully inspected the blade and was relieved. Even after such a powerful blast, his masterpiece was completely unscathed. With the danger truly over, his childhood friend tearfully embraced him in a hug of overwhelming gratitude. The blacksmith, far more comfortable with his forge than with open affection, was left completely flustered. Full of awe for his skill, she praised his genius and spoke of the bright future he surely had with the Silver Wing Guild. Her innocent words created a painful irony, forcing him to address the fresh wound of being cast out. With a pained laugh, he confirmed the unbelievable truth. He had just been fired. Her praise and admiration instantly curdled into wide-eyed, sputtering disbelief. Demanding a reason for his dismissal, she listened as he explained the guild's logic. It was simply cheaper to buy from shops. The unbelievable and insulting justification sent his childhood friend into a protective fury. Her explosive anger cooled into a quiet, sorrowful protest. She couldn't reconcile the immense talent she had just witnessed with the guild's decision to cast him aside as worthless. Seeing her sorrow, he gently comforted her with a pat on the head. He accepted the painful truth of his exile, but sincerely thanked her, finding strength in her validation. With the emotional turmoil settled, she asked the one question that remained: what would he do now? He had no answer yet. His future as a guildless blacksmith, an unwritten page. Faced with his uncertain future, his childhood friend offered a bright and simple solution. With a brilliant smile, she invited him to join her adventurers guild and start new. Citing the incredible power he'd just displayed, she declared his true talent was not just in making weapons, but in being an adventurer. With a determined fire in her eyes, she gave him a new, shared purpose: to make the Silver Wing Guild regret everything. He had only ever seen himself as a blacksmith. But as he looked at his friend's unwavering, hopeful gaze, a new identity began to take root in his mind. Adventurer. It was a path he had never considered, but for the first time, his future felt open again. The last of his doubt washed away, replaced by a confident smile. With newfound determination, he declared his decision. He would try becoming an adventurer. His new journey was set to begin the very next day. And so, his destination was set. With a proud smile, his friend revealed the name of his new home and the start of his new life: the Rainbow Butterfly Guild. He silently processed the name of his new destination. Rainbow Butterfly. It was an unexpected name for an unexpected future, marking the true start of a life far different from the one he'd left behind. With their plans set for the next day, she proudly revealed the name of his new home and the start of his new life: the Rainbow Butterfly Guild. The day ended with him alone in his room, the name of his new path echoing in the quiet. Rainbow Butterfly, he mused, a name as unexpected as the future it represented. Fired for his mastery, a blacksmith is left with nothing. After saving his childhood friend and revealing his true power, she convinces him to find a new purpose as an adventurer in her guild. The next day, his new life begins. Fired for his mastery, a blacksmith is left with nothing. After saving his childhood friend and revealing his true power, she convinces him to find a new purpose as an adventurer. The next day, his new life begins at the kingdom's largest guild. Fired by his ungrateful guild, a master blacksmith is left with nothing. After saving his childhood friend and revealing his true power, she convinces him to find a new purpose as an adventurer. The next day, he nervously enters the kingdom's largest guild, stepping into his new life. The sheer size of the Rainbow Butterfly Guild Hall left Makina speechless. He stared in awe at the sea of powerful adventurers until a firm hand landed on his shoulder. A voice spoke directly to him. "I've been waiting for you." Turning, Makina saw a red-haired, armored woman with a sword and a piercing gaze. She looked him up and down with a serious expression. A confident smirk appeared on her face. She was Baloney of the Rainbow Butterfly Guild. The tense introduction was interrupted by Arya's cheerful greeting to Baloney. Baloney glanced at her before her gaze settled back on Makina. "Arya," she asked, "is this the one you said was joining?" Baloney formally addressed Makina, placing a hand on her chest. She explained that with the guild leader absent, she would be the one conducting his interview. "I'm Baloney," she stated. "Nice to meet you." Baloney circled and stared at him until the unnerved Makina finally asked, "Is something wrong?" Suddenly, Baloney's stern face broke into a bright, friendly smile. "I see now," she said cheerfully. "You're the childhood friend Arya is always so proud of." Makina was left completely stunned by her sudden change in attitude. With a giggle, Baloney began quoting Arya's constant praise. "Mine Eye is amazing. Mine Eye is strong. Mine Eye is kind. Mine Eye, I lo." Before she could finish, a mortified Arya slapped a hand over her mouth, cutting her off with a muffled cry. Muffled by Arya's hand, Baloney continued to tease her, revealing that Arya had eagerly asked for help from Makina just yesterday. The revelation made Arya shriek in embarrassment. The playful atmosphere vanished. Baloney's expression turned sharp and serious as she locked eyes with Makina. However, she stated, her tone all business. Even if you are Arya's friend, I have to inspect you properly. You understand, then? Baloney asked, her voice leaving no room for argument. Makina's determined gaze was all the answer she needed. Then follow me, she commanded, turning to lead him away. She led him to the guild's indoor training ground. In the center of the vast chamber, a massive orb of pure energy hovered silently, radiating immense power. Baloney explained the trial. The orb would gauge his strength by changing color according to the force of his attack. Any method is fine, Makina asked, tightening his glove. It is, she confirmed. With a look of intense focus, Makina simply replied, understood. As the floor cracked beneath him, Makina summoned his weapon, the colossal and overwhelmingly powerful club of destruction, Damocles. Baloney stared in utter shock. Damocles, she cried out. That's a weapon for the giant race. There's no way a human can handle it. Ignoring her disbelief, Makina simply tightened his grip on the colossal handle. Makina's powerful swing shattered the air itself, leaving Baloney and Arya speechless at his impossible strength. The magic orb lay shattered. I overdid it, Makina thought, but Baloney was reeling. Not only had he swung the giant club as if it were nothing, but the abnormal skill required to store such a weapon in the first place was a feat she could barely comprehend. Her professional composure shattered. Trembling with sheer excitement as she processed his impossible feats, all Baloney could manage to breathe out was a single, awe-filled word. Incredible. You've passed, Baloney announced, as Arya cheered in agreement. A relieved Makina had barely finished his thanks when Baloney's tone turned serious. However, I have a selfish request to make. With a fierce grin, Baloney drew her sword on the stunned Makina. Please, she challenged, have a match with me. A match with you? Makina asked, still reeling. With a confident smile, Baloney confirmed his disbelief. Correct. That's not a problem, is it? Arya cried out in panic, trying to stop the match. Wait, even I can't fight the grandeur Baloney. But Makina's surprise had already hardened into determination as he recognized the famous title. The grandeur Baloney, he acknowledged, his voice now serious. I've heard of you. Dismissing her legendary, knight-level reputation as just a nickname, Baloney then posed another selfish request to the confused Makina. Her second request was specific. Use the flame sword on your back, she commanded, adding, Arya told me it's a magic weapon. Makina was stunned. She wasn't just challenging him. She was challenging his masterpiece. Gripping her sword in anticipation, Baloney explained her reasoning. Creators of magic weapons are exceptionally rare, she said, so the chance to fight a swordsman wielding his own masterpiece was an opportunity she could not miss. Her serious demeanor vanished, replaced by pure, sparkling excitement. This is an opportunity a swordswoman must not miss, she declared with a joyous shout. Let's fight now. After Arya explained Baloney only gets this excited for strong opponents, an impatient Baloney grabbed Makina, demanding he draw his sword. He calmly agreed. Makina drew the flame sword. Its dark, rune-etched blade pulsed with latent power, instantly captivating Baloney. Whoa! She breathed, her eyes wide with awe. Incredible! Baloney praised his sword, comparing its craftsmanship to the legendary 5 Supreme Swords. While Makina admitted he wasn't at that level yet, his ambition impressed Baloney, who said she would look forward to his future work. Apologizing for her bad habit of talking too much, Baloney gave a wry smile. We can start now. The friendly air vanished, replaced by the focused glares of 2 warriors ready for battle. Okay, Makina simply agreed. Well then, Baloney began, her eyes locked on her target. With an explosive burst of speed, she lunged forward, roaring her challenge. Here I come. Their blades met with a deafening clang as Makina perfectly blocked her charge. Baloney smirked, impressed despite herself. Not bad, she conceded. You managed to block that one. But how about this? Her attack intensified, a flurry of rapid strikes aimed to overwhelm him. A smirk touched Baloney's lips. Not bad, she complimented, then immediately unleashed a furious barrage of strikes. How about this? The hall echoed with the sharp clang of steel as Machina was forced to parry the relentless, high-speed assault. Struggling under the relentless assault, Machina realized a single mistake could be crippling. Watching from the sidelines as Baloney fought with a cold, focused fury, a terrified Arya screamed, "Are you trying to kill him for real?" Their blades locked in a tense stalemate. "Why are you this strong?" a surprised Baloney demanded, impressed that he had withstood her full assault. "I'm not," Machina replied, his gaze firm. "My weapons are." "No." Baloney shot back as their duel resumed with another fierce clash. From their exchange, she could tell his skill was far beyond ordinary training. "You couldn't have come this far," she insisted, "just by understanding weapons." Machina explained his strength came from his daily routine of fighting monsters to test his weapons. To test Damocles, for example, he stated, "I had to train my body to replicate the movements of a giant." His combat skill was simply a byproduct of his dedication as a blacksmith. When Baloney asked why he went to such extremes, Machina explained his deep sense of responsibility to the adventurers his weapons protect. Because of that, he could never hold back, not in his craft and not in their match. Fueled by his convictions as a blacksmith, Machina's resolve hardened into a single, powerful declaration: "I can't lose." His declaration was met not with aggression, but with a slight, satisfied smile from Baloney. This was the resolve she had been hoping to see. She had found a worthy opponent. Instead of clashing again, Baloney suddenly sheathed her sword, stunning Machina. "It's my loss," she declared. "There's no meaning in continuing." With a look of deep respect, she gave her final verdict. "I'm impressed by your spirit and conviction. You'll be a splendid adventurer." With his worth proven by his conviction, Baloney offered the stunned Machina her official acceptance. "Welcome," she said with a warm smile, "to the Rainbow Butterfly Guild." Arya's joyful cheer shattered the silence as she hugged the still-dazed Machina, amazed that he'd made Baloney admit defeat. Cutting through the celebration, Baloney held something out to him. "Take this, Machina," she said formally. In her hand, Baloney held the proof of his new membership, the guild's butterfly emblem. With an enthusiastic smile, Baloney welcomed adventurer Machina and told the formal boy to relax since they were now guildmates. A flustered Machina agreed. Arya's proud declaration to be Machina's senpai was cut short when someone noted he was actually strong enough to be their teacher, leaving her stunned. A bitter memory surfaced of an arrogant former guildmate from the Silver Wing. He had mocked Machina's easy life as a blacksmith, calling him a bottom feeder while claiming only great people could truly fight for the world. The memory ended with a final, stinging insult. "Blacksmithing sure suits a small fry," the man sneered, contemptuously flicking away a broken piece of metal. Pushing the bitter memories aside, Machina looked at his new guild emblem. With a determined smile, he embraced his new beginning. From now on, he was also an adventurer. Standing before the quest board, Machina was amazed by the sheer volume of jobs, including requests from nobility. Arya proudly explained it was because the Rainbow Butterfly Guild received the most quest orders in the entire kingdom. Among the many jobs, his eyes settled on one: a hunt for a hound wolf. With no hesitation, he made his decision. "All right," he declared, "I'll take this one as my first quest." Arya questioned his choice, believing a common hound wolf was far too weak for him. "Nah," Machina replied, his gaze fixed on the request. "This one caught my interest." Machina explained his real concern. When hound wolves gather in a pack, they are sometimes led by a cunning and dangerous werewolf. He insisted that such a threat to nearby villages had to be eliminated immediately. Undeterred by the potential danger, Arya enthusiastically volunteered to join him. Dismissing his warning, she confidently declared she'd be fine by his side. Seeing her resolve, he reluctantly agreed. Arriving at the forest's edge, Makina took a precaution. Citing the potential danger of their quest, he asked to borrow Arya's weapon to strengthen it. She agreed instantly, handing it over without a second thought. As Arya presented her twin daggers, Makina instantly recognized his own work. Beaming with pride, Arya confirmed it. He was the one who had made them for her. He remembered forging the daggers for her long before he'd joined the Silverwing Guild. To his expert eye, they now looked poorly made, but he was touched that she treasured them. With a gentle smile, he simply said, "Thanks, Arya." Makina declared he would turn Arya's daggers into magic weapons on the spot. When a shocked Arya questioned if that was possible, he simply explained that since the base weapons already existed, it was. Without another word, Makina began. He activated his unique ability, blacksmith skill, creation, and a brilliant flash of light erupted from the daggers, leaving Arya to watch in stunned silence. The transformation was complete. The daggers have been reforged and given a new, powerful name, Twin Fangs of Orthros. Arya was completely mesmerized by the reforged daggers, her eyes sparkling with delight. "Wow, they're incredibly shiny," she exclaimed. Pleased with her joyous reaction, Makina asked, "So, are they to your liking?" Her face lit up with a brilliant, joyous smile. "Yes," she beamed, her voice filled with overwhelming gratitude. "Thank you, Manhwa." With a warm smile, Makina accepted her thanks. Now armed with her powerful new daggers, an overeager Arya declared she would shred the wolves in an instant. After a quick warning from Makina not to get carried away, they finally set off to begin their hunt. Soon, they found their quarry, a large, menacing pack of hound wolves guarding the path ahead. Hiding in the bushes, Makina saw no sign of a werewolf and wondered if he'd been worried for nothing. Arya, however, noted that seeing so many wolves gathered together was an unnaturally rare sight. Arya asked if he'd ever fought a werewolf. Makina confirmed he had, and though he admitted werewolves are strong and cunning, he calmly stated that for him, it had been an easy win. Their quiet observation was shattered by a piercing howl that alerted the entire pack. In an instant, a shocked Makina and Arya realized their cover was blown. They had been discovered. With their position revealed, the entire hound wolf pack lunged forward in a coordinated, ferocious assault. "Let's go, Arya," Makina commanded as the battle began. A single swing of Makina's sword unleashed a massive arc of dark fire, leaving Arya utterly awestruck by the true power of both the weapon and its creator. When the flames cleared, the pack's true leader was revealed, a large, battle-scarred wolf that Makina instantly identified as the Alpha. With the Alpha revealed, Makina quickly devised a plan. He would take down the leader himself, entrusting the rest of the pack to Arya and her newly forged twin fangs of Orthros. Inspired by his spirit, Arya's expression hardened with resolve. "Okay, understood," she declared, accepting her role in the battle and making a silent vow that she couldn't lose either. Her new daggers, Blessing of Gale, granted her supernatural speed, allowing her to easily fight the wolves. With a terrifying howl, the scarred alpha wolf began to transform, proving Makina's suspicion correct. It was a werewolf. As the wolf monstrously twisted into its true form, Arya cried out in shock. It was hiding its true form. Its howl morphed into a guttural roar as the wolf's body twisted and expanded into its terrifying true form. "A werewolf!" Arya cried out in shock. It was hiding its true form. The massive werewolf lunged towards Arya with terrifying speed. Moving in a blur, Makina threw himself in front of Arya, taking the full force of the werewolf's claws. Recovering his stance, Makina stood protectively before Arya. With tears of relief, Arya thanked him for the save. Makina met her gratitude with a confident smile, reassuring her, "Don't worry about it. I'll handle the rest." Facing the werewolf, Makina calmly recalled his first weapon test. He had also encountered a werewolf back then, but at a time when he couldn't yet forge any decent weapons. He revealed the truth of his past. The easy win he'd mentioned was a lie. In reality, He had been completely defeated and fled for his life. His past defeat fueled his present resolve. Gripping his perfected blade, Makina declared with unwavering confidence, "I am different from back then." His declaration made, Makina launched his counterattack. With the battle over and the mission complete, Makina praised Arya for handling her new daggers so well. A delighted Arya laughed, insisting it was only because he had made them so perfectly. After their first successful mission, Arya looked at Makina with tears of gratitude. Her heartfelt thanks struck a deep chord within him. It had been so long since anyone had thanked him for his work, and her smile reminded him of his original purpose. Realizing her smile had reminded him of his lost purpose, he quietly thanked her. Flustered, she teased him as they headed back to the guild, their mission complete. A few days later, Makina was just another face in the bustling crowd of the Rainbow Butterfly Guild Hall. While waiting for a chance at the crowded quest board, their attention was drawn to a newcomer with beautiful golden hair. The golden-haired girl, Stella, lounged casually on a bench, eating without a care. The next morning, Makina gently woke his partner. Leaning over a still sleepy Arya, he greeted her with a warm smile. "Mornin'." Arya eagerly introduced Makina to the golden-haired girl lounging nearby. "This is Stella-chan," she began proudly, "the strongest spear wielder in the Rainbow Butterfly Guild." Before anyone could introduce them, Stella cut in. "I know," she said, revealing she'd heard the rumors. "He's the one who won against Baloney, right?" She then gave Makina a look of intense, predatory interest. Arya introduced Makina to Stella, the guild's top spear wielder. But Stella, already aware of the rumors that he'd beaten Baloney, skipped the greeting entirely. The blonde girl, observing Makina, voiced her unexpected assessment. "You look weaker than I thought." Stella called him weak-looking, prompting Arya to defensively shout that he'd beaten a werewolf. Ignoring her, Stella admitted she couldn't believe someone so unassuming had defeated Baloney. With a final dismissive glance, Stella announced she was off to hunt a devil jackal and left. Makina simply laughed, telling the pouting Arya that he wasn't bothered by her attitude. Then, dropping her cold demeanor, Stella turned with a brilliant smile and a cheerful wave goodbye. As she left, Makina stopped her. He instantly used his observation skill, analyzing the stats of her steel spear. Makina warned Stella not to use her spear, telling her it would lead to a nasty end. Makina urged her to cancel the quest, but Stella angrily misinterpreted his warning. She took it as a personal insult, accusing him of calling her weak. He clarified it wasn't about her skill. The spear's quality was simply too low, making her quest suicidal. Annoyed, Stella brushed off his warning. She insisted the quest was easy, called him a meddling busybody, and stormed off. Arya called out in panic as Stella walked away, but Makina could only watch in worried silence. By sunset, Stella still hadn't returned. The realization sent Arya into a panic, confirming Makina's dire warning had come true. Other guild members began to murmur with concern. They agreed it was strange she was gone so long, especially since the renowned Stella had never failed a quest before. While the guild panicked and feared the worst for Stella, Makina made his decision. Without a word, he turned and headed for the door. Arya cried out in surprise as Makina dashed out. As he left, he confirmed the location of the Devil Jackal's territory, making it clear he was going to rescue her. With a final, determined shout, Makina ran off alone toward the mountains as the sun set on the horizon. In the mountains, the aftermath of a fierce struggle was clear. Stella's spear lay shattered on the ground, her weapon shattered. A defeated Stella was cornered by the massive Devil Jackal. She couldn't understand the Devil Jackal's immense strength. Realizing she had fatally miscalculated the danger, Stella lost all hope and resigned herself to death. Makina's warning echoed in her mind, filling her with regret. O chacal demoniaco esse aproximo. Esue, sombra immensa cabrindo, adorizada Stella. With a final, terrifying swing, the Devil Jackal brought its claw down. The killing blow never landed. At the last possible second, Makina appeared, intercepting the massive claw. With the force of his block, he sent the beast flying backward. Ignoring the monster, his first priority was the stunned Stella, shouting to see if she was okay. Staring up at him through her tears, the stunned Stella slowly began to recognize the very person whose warning she had ignored. Makina breathed a sigh of relief, glad he had made it in time. He gave the flimsy excuse that he was just passing by, but his ragged breathing and tattered boots revealed the truth of his desperate journey to save her. Stella instantly saw through his lie. Seeing his battered state, she realized he must have searched desperately for her. Her hand clenched as guilt washed over her. She questioned why he would save her. Makina reassured her, taking partial blame for the argument. He told her what truly mattered was simply his relief that she was safe. Kneeling before her, he praised her endurance. Offering her a new spear, he then affirmed her power, telling her she was truly strong. His unexpected kindness and validation completely broke her composure. Her composure gone, she lunged into his arms, finally admitting with a loud wail how truly scared she had been. She clung to him, crying uncontrollably. In the quiet aftermath, a loud growl from her stomach suddenly. Returning to the guild with an exhausted Stella on his back, Makina surprised everyone. While Arya celebrated the successful rescue, the ravenously hungry Stella focused on her recovery, devouring a mountain of food. Soon after, Stella stood up, completely recovered. Makina sighed in relief. Taking his sleeve, a hesitant Stella then struggled to find the words for something important she needed to say. Before she could get her words out, Makina remembered he had something for her. He then presented her with a powerful new spear he had forged. Stella recognized it as the very spear he'd used to save her. He confirmed it was, proudly introducing his own creation by its name, the Dragon Strike Spear Lindworm. When Stella refused the incredible weapon, Makina insisted, arguing that his masterpiece deserved to be wielded by an expert like her. Flustered by his persistence and compliment, Stella finally relented, telling him to just take the spear. Finally accepting the spear, a flustered Stella yelled an embarrassed "thank you" at the confused Makina, quickly adding the excuse that she's not used to saying it. After being teased that her outburst was just hunger, a flustered Stella denied it. As she was dragged away shouting that she'd make him regret his gift, Makina calmly accepted her challenge. Later that night, a tired Makina reflected on his new freedom. Unlike at his old guild, he was now home at a reasonable hour. But when he opened the door to the shower, he was met with a complete shock. He had walked in on a woman already using it, leaving him utterly stunned. Instead of panicking, the mysterious woman simply looked at him. Looking at him with a gentle expression, the mysterious woman revealed that this was no accident, calmly stating, "I've been waiting for you." Makina panics, realizing the woman in his shower is his guildmate, Baloney, who gives the absurd excuse that she entered his unlocked house for crime prevention. Baloney casually revealed Arya gave her his address, then ironically lectured Makina about leaving his door unlocked, leaving him wondering why he was the one being scolded. An exasperated Makina finally asked what she wanted. Baloney revealed she had two requests, the first being that she wanted him to make her a new weapon. Baloney explained her current weapon was wearing out. Shifting into his professional role, Makina accepted the job and asked what kind of weapon she wanted. Baloney then revealed the specific sword she wanted, the legendary exorcism sword Stormbringer, a great sword with the power to nullify all magic. Baloney's second request was a quest to find the rare magic stone needed for the weapon. Makina accepted instantly. Pleased, Baloney thanked him and set their departure for dawn the next morning, adding that she was counting on him. Just as he thought the matter was settled, Baloney casually announced that his bath was so comfortable she'd be staying the night, prompting a furious Makina to yell at her to go home. The next day, on the snowy Romari mountain, Baloney prepared to lead with her map. Surprised by his unexpected knowledge, Baloney hesitated for a moment before agreeing to let him lead the way. He led her to a large, well-maintained road that Baloney, surprised, noted was completely absent from her map. Makina explained that he had been there before to gather materials and had fixed the road himself for future convenience. At a deep chasm, Baloney was impressed by the rope bridge he'd set up. Makina simply explained that he'd only built it because he had fallen off the cliff there once before. Baloney stared in shock, asking how he could possibly be alive after such a fall. Unfazed, Makina told her to stop looking at him like she'd seen a ghost. As they walked on, Baloney reflected on his incredible feats, admitting to herself that he was a far more capable man than she had ever imagined. He led her to a dark cave, the collection point they were searching for. Seeing it was untouched, Makina declared they would enter. Inside the cave was a breathtaking sight. The walls and ceiling were filled with countless glowing magic stones. While Baloney stared in awe, having never seen such magic stones, Makina activated his appraisal skill to analyze their properties. Almost instantly, his skill pinpointed their target among the countless crystals, a rare S-grade stone. Baloney was left astounded by his incredible appraisal ability. Makina immediately set to work, skillfully extracting the S-grade stone. He retrieved the large crystal with incredible speed, once again leaving Baloney amazed. With the stone secured, Makina announced he would make the weapon and asked for her sword. Baloney was surprised, questioning why he wasn't forging it from scratch. He explained his reasoning. He wanted to use her sword as a base because he understood it was her important partner. Touched by his respect for her bond with the weapon, Baloney wholeheartedly agreed. Activating his blacksmith skill and the power of creation, Makina began the forging process, the rare magic stone glowing intensely in his hand. The forging was a success. He had reforged her beloved sword into the legendary exorcism sword Stormbringer, a masterpiece radiating immense power. With a gentle and confident look, he formally handed the completed Stormbringer over to Baloney. Holding the newly forged Stormbringer, Baloney was left in absolute awe. She admitted that while she had heard of his legendary skills from Arya, seeing the amazing result firsthand was something else entirely. With a sincere smile, Baloney genuinely thanked him, saying she was glad she had asked. Makina simply replied with humble pride that blacksmithing was his job. After all, their moment of success was shattered as the ground erupted. A massive wyvern burst forth, revealing the cave had a powerful, unexpected guardian. As the wyvern took flight inside the collapsing cave, Makina took charge. He declared the area too dangerous for a fight and that they needed to lure the creature outside. After luring the wyvern outside, Baloney braced for a hard fight against the massive beast. Makina, however, confidently told her to stand back, assuring her he would handle it. Leaping into the air, Makina unleashed a surprising new ability. He formed a bow of pure lightning and, crying out its name, Mikazuchi, fired a devastating shot at the wyvern. His lightning bow unleashed a devastating barrage of energy, slamming into the wyvern and causing the massive beast to roar in pain. His attack successfully immobilized the wyvern. He then turned the battle over to Baloney, urging her to finish the beast with the full power of her new Stormbringer. With a cry of determination, Baloney accepted the challenge. She charged the immobilized wyvern, ready to unleash the power of her new Stormbringer. She struck the wyvern with the Stormbringer, unleashing its power in a single, massive slash of pure energy. Watching Baloney fight with incredible power, Makina realized her speed wasn't from a sword. He was left in awe, finally understanding that her immense strength was entirely her own and the reason for her legendary title. Baloney defeated the massive wyvern with a single, incredible slash from the Stormbringer. When Makina asked for her opinion on his work, she could only exclaim with pure joy, "It's incredible." Meanwhile, Makina's former guild, the Silver Wings, made a public declaration. Led by their arrogant master, they announced they were officially hunting down the Dark Guild. Meanwhile, the Silver Wings leader revealed their hunt was an official request from the highest authority, the Guild Church. Announcing the Dark Guild's stronghold was in a lost forest, he confidently led his members into battle. Meanwhile, the Silver Wings' hunt ended in disaster. The victorious Dark Guild stood over their defeated leader, mocking the famed guild as weaklings. Reeling in shock that his weapon was broken in one blow, the defeated Silverwings leader was offered humiliating terms. The victor would spare him, but only so he could return and show the entire kingdom his guild's pitiful defeat. With a cold smirk, he said, the Silverwings were just losers. The Silverwings' defeat spread across the kingdom in an instant. In shock, they read the news. The Silverwings had been destroyed. Stunned, he mutters a single name, Judel. Machina and Arya fought in perfect sync, their power feeling as if it came from another world. Rumors spread. Machina had slain a wyvern, and Arya had mastered her twin daggers. Fired up, the others pushed themselves to train harder, unwilling to be left behind. Tired after another loss, Arya admitted Machina's overwhelming strength, while he praised her progress. Feeling refreshed after training, Machina and Arya notice a crowd gathered around the quest board. Curious, they learn that an outrageous quest has just been posted, drawing everyone's attention. They're shocked to see the quest, the destruction of the Dark Guild. They realize the target is the Shadow Demon, the one who destroyed the Silverwings. The quest demanded the defeat of the Shadow Demon and uncovering the identity of its leader, Jet Black Luegos. Machina recalled the Shadow Demon as an assassin guild and realized even Judel had fallen to them. They note that not even Judel and the Silverwings could stand against the Shadow Demon. Rumors spread. After failing their quest, the Silverwings ran into serious trouble. An adventurer mentions hearing that the Silverwings haven't been behaving well. Rumors said the Silverwings bought out a weapon shop, but every weapon broke during their quest. They're shocked that even high-quality weapons broke, blaming the Silverwings for rough handling. Arya insists they failed because they didn't use Machina's weapons, as more rumors spread around. Machina stays thoughtful at the rumors, giving only a vague reply. With a bright smile, Arya eagerly declares she'll join Machina on the quest. Arya calls him out, saying he's clearly planning to fight the Shadow Demon, even if he denies it. With confidence, Arya tells him not to underestimate his childhood friend. Machina agrees to take on the mission with Arya, who answers with cheerful determination. Machina admits the fight would be tough with just them and decides they need more allies. While most hesitate after the Silverwings' defeat, an unexpected figure shows interest in joining. To everyone's surprise, Stella appears, showing interest in joining. Stella volunteers for the quest, confident that with her spear-lined worm, nothing could stand against them. Stella insists she's not joining to repay a favor, but because she worries about Arya. Embarrassed, Stella struggles to put her true reasons into words. Machina thanks her, admitting he was about to ask anyway, reassured by her support. Arya eagerly approves, excited to fight together with Stella. Flustered, Stella insists she'll help only this once, while the others tease her. They decide to meet tomorrow for a strategy session, while Stella awkwardly brushes off her growing involvement. The next morning, they gather at the guild hall. Arya arrives late to the hall, greeted cheerfully by Stella. Machina arrives shortly after, greeting the two with a smile. Baloney appears with confidence, immediately drawing everyone's attention. With a confident smile, Baloney declares she'll be joining the quest as well. Baloney explains she couldn't overlook the Dark Guild and will join the party. Arya is shocked to hear that Baloney went to Machina's house to recruit him. Machina recalls, embarrassed, how Baloney barged into his house and even slept naked in his bed. With Baloney on board, Arya celebrates as if they've gained the strength of an entire army. Baloney and Stella face each other in silence, the tension between them clear. Despite their rivalry, Baloney and Stella acknowledge each other's strength and agree to fight together. Machina asks Arya if they're on bad terms, but she assures him they're not. Baloney and Stella weren't enemies, they were rivals. Baloney and Stella bicker with playful threats, while Machina urges them to get moving. When registering the quest, the receptionist is shocked to see it's the Dark Guild subjugation mission. Machina boldly declares that the four of them will take on the Dark Guild quest, shocking everyone. The onlookers are stunned, warning them about the grave danger of the Dark Guild quest. Despite the danger, Makina and his team accept the quest without hesitation. The quest is officially accepted and registered by the guild. With determination, Makina leads the group as they set out together on their quest. Under the moonlight, a scream echoes through the darkness, marking the start of a new chapter. The group advances through the eerie forest, suspecting the enemy is nearby. Amid the tension, the question arises, were the Silver Wings only strong because of Makina's weapons? Makina states that none of the Silver Wings ever lost while wielding his weapons, making it clear their strength came from his craft. Stella is stunned by their level, calling it borderline cheating. Makina discovers a sword fragment on the ground, a clear sign that something dangerous took place there. Makina notices subtle traces on the ground and concludes that a battle took place there, though the evidence was carefully hidden. While Stella admits she would have mistaken the fragment for just a pebble, Baloney acknowledges Makina's sharp eye and praises his unmatched attention to detail. Arya appears excited, proudly swinging a spear she just found and showing it off to the group. The group panics as Arya swings the weapon recklessly, and she apologizes for getting carried away. They realize the spear Arya found is just a commemorative weapon from the Salma shop. Pretty, but useless in battle. Makina suspects that the worthless weapon had been brought there by the Silver Wings themselves. A mysterious voice echoes, speaking of rainbow butterflies lost within the dark woods. Makina is shocked to spot a shadowy figure watching from the top of a tree. The leader of the Shadow Demons reveals himself, Jet Black Lugos, speaking with a mocking tone. Makina confronts him, declaring he must be the leader of the Shadow Demons, and gets confirmation. Makina declares they've come to defeat him, while Lugos mocks their recklessness for coming with only 4 members. Suddenly, dozens of Shadow Guild members surround the group, making the situation even more perilous. The group realizes the danger as they're surrounded by countless foes, hopelessly outnumbered. At the order to strike, the Shadow Guild charges at the group in full force. With speed and precision, Arya counters the enemy's assault, striking them down before they become a threat. Stella charges forward with her spear, clearing a path and taking down multiple enemies at once. Stella unleashes magic arrows at the enemies, but they withstand the attack with ease, mocking her efforts. With a determined gaze, Baloney raises her mighty sword, ready to prove her strength against those who dared underestimate her. Baloney effortlessly deflects the magic attacks, leaving the enemies stunned by her overwhelming strength. Standing amidst the fallen enemies, Makina declares the fight is over. Makina glares at his foe, declaring that Lugos is the only one left. Suddenly, something unexpected happens, causing Arya and Baloney to cry out Makina's name in alarm. Lugos notes Makina's sharp reaction and assumes he's the leader, but Makina denies it. Lugos unveils his deadly weapon, the Death Scythe, proclaiming he'll cut them all to pieces with it. Makina recognizes the name, Jack Manson, the genius craftsman whose weapons were infamous for being cursed. Lugos boasts that the Death Scythe is Jack Manson's greatest masterpiece, claiming it far surpasses Makina's so-called weapons. With cruelty, he vows to sell the girls into slavery and condemns the group to a fate worse than death. The clash of weapons erupts in a burst of energy, shocking everyone around. Makina stops the dreaded Death Scythe and, unfazed by Lugos' threats, firmly declares that he's going to beat him. Lugos laughs arrogantly, convinced Makina can't escape the Death Scythe. But Makina meets his gaze with confidence, declaring that Lugos is now within Ifrit's reach. Makina and Lugos clash with full force, their weapons colliding in a devastating burst of energy. In the fierce clash, Lugos panics, unable to comprehend why his weapon couldn't overpower Makina. Lugos is stunned to realize that, despite the Death Scythe's greater reach and weight, Makina's short sword doesn't break, and even strikes back with greater power. Makina looks at Lugos with cold resolve, declaring the battle is already over, leaving his foe shocked and unsettled. With a decisive strike, Makina shatters the dreaded Death Scythe, throwing Lugos into utter despair. Lugos panics, desperately claiming he's essential and irreplaceable. But Makina coldly declares that the fault lies not in the weapon, but in the one who wields it. Makina delivers a devastating strike, cutting deep with his blade and bringing the battle to a merciless end. Makina states that Arya, Bologna, and Stella are his first precious friends and vows never to forgive anyone who harms them. He asserts his resolve. My weapons are the strongest. After their victory, the group celebrates, raising their mugs in a cheerful toast. The group celebrates at the guild hall, laughing and toasting. Arya is thrilled by the surprise party, while Makina feels drained after giving a speech and being bombarded with questions. In the middle of the celebration, Arya suddenly speaks up, saying she has something important to tell everyone. With excitement, Arya suggests that the four of them officially form a party, joining forces as a true team. Makina is surprised by the idea, but Stella reveals they had already been talking about forming a party on their way back. Makina gets flustered and surprised by the proposal, but admits that everything will go more smoothly with everyone's cooperation. The group chooses Makina as the leader, catching him off guard. Bologna says only Makina can unite them and asks him to take care of the group. The girls argue because Bologna is too close to Makina, making him embarrassed. An injured man watches Makina from afar, filled with anger and resentment. The Shadow Demon's members are in shock, realizing their enemy is far too strong for them. The enemies, in desperation, ask, "Who in the world are you?" Upon witnessing Makina's power and presence, the enemies notice Makina and the other's butterfly emblem, shocked. That badge, could they be? The group officially reveals themselves as the Rainbow Butterfly Guild, ready for battle. A newsboy announces extra news, handing out newspapers to people in town. Newspaper reports, Shadow Demon wiped out, praising Rainbow Butterfly as a new hope against darkness. Judel, leader of Silver Wings, rages in anger, refusing to accept Rainbow Butterfly as success. Judel desperately asks, why did it turn out this way? Judel is shocked to find a stack of letters and realizes they are resignation letters from his guild members. Judel angrily confronts some former members, shouting at them, while they confirm that they are indeed leaving the guild. The former members face Judel and openly declare that they are quitting the Silver Wings Guild, leaving him stunned. The members accuse Judel of abandoning them during the fight against the Shadow Demons. He tries to justify himself by claiming he went to seek support from other guilds, but no one believes his excuse. The members point out that, besides the abandonment, the guild has been failing many quests lately. Because of this, they lost the guild association's trust and are now only getting low-rank subjugation quests. The Silver Wings Guild is declining, failing quests, losing the guild association's trust, and only getting low-rank jobs. Judel, angry and prideful, abandons his comrades and insists he's enough on his own. Judel visits a blacksmith seeking a splendid, powerful weapon. The blacksmith shuts him down, refusing to sell a single weapon. The blacksmith calls out his poor weapon handling and refuses to sell. He boasts that he's never broken a weapon and can slay high-rank monsters in a single strike. The merchant was shocked by the claim. If it was true that such a beast had been defeated with a short sword, then the true genius wasn't the warrior at all, but the craftsman who forged it, Makina. Furious at being looked down on, the man lashed out in rage. But the blacksmith threw him out without hesitation, refusing to sell him anything. Turned away from shop after shop, he grew bitter. Makina, once dismissed as nothing but a parasite, was now whispered about as a true genius. Left alone, he felt the weight of rejection. The memory of Makina haunted him, leaving him unsettled and restless. His eyes caught a passing adventurer carrying a weapon that radiated brilliance. In that moment, he realized if he couldn't buy weapons, he would need to find another way. Driven by desperation, he clenched his teeth and decided on the unthinkable. If he couldn't buy a weapon, he would steal one. His gaze wandered, and instead of focusing on the weapon, he became distracted by the woman wielding it, her striking figure leaving him flustered. He muttered to himself about her reckless exposure, but then remembered his own empty pockets. Failure after failure had left him with nothing. Frustration built up alongside temptation, convincing himself that maybe indulging his darker impulses would ease the stress. But as he followed her movements, something shifted. The glint of her weapon and the sudden turn of her head snapped him back to reality, catching him off guard. He spotted her heading into a back alley and couldn't believe his luck. To him, it was the perfect chance to strike where no one would see. Hiding in the shadows, he watched her closely, convinced she looked even more tempting up close. His resolve hardened. He would take both her weapon and his chance. The moment she stretched, leaving herself seemingly exposed, he lunged forward with a wild cry, claiming the weapon as his. But before he could touch her, she countered with lightning speed, driving a brutal kick that sent him flying. Furious, she called him out directly, revealing she had noticed his presence all along and wasn't about to let him get away with stalking her. Writhing on the ground, he cursed his pain as she confronted him head-on, calling out his attempt to claim her weapon. With fiery conviction, she raised her spear, declaring it a priceless treasure given to her by someone important, something he could never lay a hand on. Enraged and humiliated, he tried to rise, but his body refused to move. His fury boiled over, vowing he would make her pay for this insult. Meanwhile, she sighed in exasperation, noting how often trouble like this befell women walking alone, and thought maybe next time she should bring someone she trusted along. Behind her, the man trembled with rage, his pride shattered, spitting curses as he watched her walk away untouchable. Broken and humiliated, he collapsed to the ground, questioning how he had fallen so low, reduced to sneaking around and getting beaten so easily. Meanwhile, others laughed and smiled together, their warmth and camaraderie standing in stark contrast to his bitter isolation. The memory of the blacksmith's words echoed in his mind. If that weapon story was true, then Makina was no parasite. He was a genius, and that truth burned like salt in his wounds. Sitting alone, he recalled the warning that had been thrown at him. Without Makina, the Silverwing Guild would collapse. Now, that threat felt frighteningly real. Clenching his teeth, he made his decision with fiery resolve. There was no choice left. He had to bring Makina back, no matter what it took. The next day, Stella brushed off the incident with a smile, assuring her friend she was fine while the others worried over her. As they shared a light moment, talk shifted back to the attacker, and just as Makina tried to relax, a heavy voice suddenly called out his name. Turning in shock, Makina froze as he came face to face with a figure from his past, Judel himself. The two locked eyes, the weight of their history hanging between them. Both spoke the other's name, their reunion thick with tension. With a sharp glare, Judel declared his purpose. After all this time, he had come back with one goal in mind, to take Makina back. Judel returned with smug arrogance, mocking Makina's surprise and boasting that it was rare for someone as great as him to give second chances. Before anyone could process his words, Stella's fury ignited. The moment she saw him, she attacked without hesitation, her weapon blazing with rage. She pointed her spear at him, shouting that he was the very same man who had ambushed her before. Scrambling to defend his pride, Judel roared his identity, proclaiming himself the leader of Silver Wings, the strongest guild in the city. The revelation struck everyone like thunder. This was the infamous Flame Sword Judel, the very man who had once cast Makina aside. Judel grumbled in frustration, bitterly comparing his own struggles to Makina's current life surrounded by companions. With a sharp grin, he brought up the rumors. Makina had joined the Rainbow Butterflies, become an adventurer, and even destroyed the Dark Guild. Puffing his chest, Judel announced his grand plan. He was here to bring Makina back to Silver Wings as their blacksmith, demanding gratitude for his so-called generosity. He laughed, convinced Makina would leap at the chance, insisting no one else in the world could offer such kindness after having once fired him. But Makina's answer was calm and absolute. He refused without hesitation, leaving Judel stunned by the rejection. Makina reminded him of his disgrace, how he had taken a memorial spear from Salma's shop and broken it, showing no respect for weapons. With calm defiance, Makina made his stance clear. He would never forge weapons for those incapable of valuing or protecting them. Arya stepped forward furious. She called out Judal's shamelessness, reminding everyone he was the one who had cast Makina out in the first place. Her anger boiled over into protectiveness as she clung tightly to Makina, vowing she would never let anyone take him away again. Judal's smirk twisted into menace. Realizing persuasion had failed, he declared there was no choice left but to use force. Judal's eyes burned with rage as he declared that if Makina would not return willingly, then he would drag him back by force. Makina quickly shielded his companions, ordering them to stay behind as Judal charged with a murderous roar. Steel clashed as Judal swung his blade, only to find Makina standing firm with Ifrit in hand, the weapon he once discarded. Judal's fury deepened, accusing even his old weapon of betrayal, blind to the truth that he had abandoned it long ago. The clash drew panic from the crowd, voices rising in outrage as they condemned Judal's reckless attack in broad daylight, questioning how such a man could ever call himself a guild leader. Judal fought desperately, willing to use any method to win, even if it meant throwing away his pride. But Makina's power overwhelmed him, blasting him back with a strike that left him screaming in agony. Collapsed and broken, Judal could only curse as Makina calmly told him the truth. This downfall was his own doing, and he'd have to find another blacksmith. Staggering away in humiliation, Judal seethed with disbelief. To think he was the one forced to flee from Makina, it felt like a cruel joke he could never accept. Judal panicked as the weight of failure closed in, realizing the Silver Wings Guild itself was in jeopardy. His fears came true when a squad from the Guild Association appeared, confronting him directly as their leader. They listed his failures, quests left undone, violent behavior, and the exodus of his own members. With a final, crushing blow, they declared the guild abolished, stripping him of everything he had built. That day, the Silver Wings met its end, its brief history closing in disgrace as Judal stood powerless to stop it. News of Silver Wings' downfall spread quickly, the papers marking their collapse as the end of a once promising guild. Makina and his companions reflected quietly. There was some sadness, but also a sense of inevitability. Stella quickly shifted the mood, bursting with excitement at the mention of the legendary island dragon, a colossal creature that resembled a turtle with a city built on its back. The island dragon inspired awe with its sheer size and wonder. Its traveling city carried goods and delicacies from across the continent, making it not only a marvel of nature, but also a hub of culture and trade. The city erupted with excitement as word spread that the island dragon had finally arrived at the Kyofu Kingdom. Makina explained that the colossal creature only passed by once every 10 years, making its appearance a rare and celebrated event. His companions were thrilled, their eyes sparkling with dreams of exotic foods and rare treasures awaiting them on its back. Even the quieter ones admitted they wanted to go, surprising Makina with their eagerness to see the legendary city. The island dragon wasn't just a marvel. It was a treasure trove of unique ecosystems, rare minerals, and opportunities no blacksmith could afford to miss in their lifetime. Makina's determination flared. This was a once-in-a-decade opportunity, and he refused to let it slip through his fingers. But the group quickly reminded each other that entering the island dragon wasn't so simple. Strict qualifications made even sightseeing difficult. Before worry could set in, a familiar voice reassured them. Baloney appeared, confident and composed, telling them there was no need to be concerned. She explained she had been away on a quest, one specifically assigned to her, dealing with the dangerous dark guild known as the Crazed Devil Fawn. Though the others were shocked to hear of yet another dark guild, Baloney dismissed it lightly, assuring them it was only a small group she had already handled on her own. Baloney recalled the mission, admitting it hadn't been easy, but she managed to defeat the enemy faster than expected. She gave credit where it was due, revealing that Makina's weapon Stormbringer, had been the key to her success. The group praised her strength, though Baloney added that one enemy member had slipped away during the battle. She assured them it wasn't their problem anymore. The guild association would handle the aftermath. Relieved, Makina expressed his gratitude that she was safe, while the others pressed her to explain the mysterious confidence she had shown earlier. Baloney revealed what she meant earlier, producing an envelope sealed with importance. Inside was something shocking, an official invitation to the Island Dragon itself. The group erupted in disbelief, their voices echoing with excitement as the weight of the news sank in. Their outburst drew stares in the guild hall, forcing them to apologize for making such a scene. Baloney admitted she didn't know why, only that the letter had been addressed specifically to them, leaving everyone stunned and full of questions. The group confirmed the invitation was indeed for all four of them, something unusual since such notices rarely went to individuals instead of entire guilds. Excited speculation followed. Maybe their victory against the Dark Guild had made them famous enough to be recognized. Baloney explained that the Island Dragon, roaming across the continent, likely gathered news everywhere it traveled, making their deeds known. She revealed this was the first time the Rainbow Butterflies had ever been invited, and she wanted to join them in exploring it. The others eagerly agreed without hesitation. Finally, all eyes turned to Makina. With a spark of long-lost excitement, he admitted it had been a while since he felt this alive at the thought of an adventure. The group's resolve was firm. Together, they would head to the Island Dragon. Gathering at the guild's entrance, they prepared themselves, expecting an escort to arrive and take them to the legendary place. Suddenly, something dark appeared in the sky, catching everyone's attention. The ground shook as a massive figure descended with thunderous force. To their shock, the escort sent to guide them was no ordinary beast. It was a wyvern. Arya couldn't contain her excitement, riding the wyvern recklessly while shouting with joy, leaving the others both amazed and worried. Her antics had everyone on edge, though Baloney admitted it did look fun despite how dangerous it seemed. Makina sighed, reflecting on how troublesome Arya had always been, yet his expression softened. He truly cared for her like family. Baloney noticed the warmth in his eyes, teasing that he looked every bit the protective older brother, and Makina quietly agreed. Meanwhile, Stella grew uncharacteristically flustered, denying her feelings when Makina asked why she was so quiet, though her red cheeks betrayed her. Baloney apologizes for pairing Stella with Makina on the same wyvern, but Stella, flustered, insists it's fine and even rewarding. Makina recalls that the wyvern's letter mentioned 4 riders, yet Baloney explains mistakes like this sometimes happen. Stella remembers losing at rock, paper, scissors, which is why she ended up riding with Makina. Nervous and blushing, she glances at him, and Makina gently asks what's wrong. Overwhelmed, Stella denies any feelings, shouting that it's only because of her loss, though her reaction betrays her embarrassment. Makina coughs as Stella flusters, trying to cover up her nervous rambling about the height. He reassures her with a smile, saying he's glad she's fine, making Stella's heart skip a beat. Arya points out the view excitedly, while others tease about how close Stella and Makina seem. Their eyes widen in awe as the majestic island dragon finally comes into sight. Everyone marvels at its immense size, amazed by the mountain, city, and giant tree growing on its back. Makina's eyes shine with determination as he shouts his excitement, ready to face the island dragon. They finally land, grateful for the ride, as the group marvels at arriving at such a grand destination. Baloney notes the island's peaceful atmosphere, while the others tease Stella, who seems flustered about the journey ending too soon. Armored knights step forward, formally welcoming them to the Island Dragon. The group presents their invitation, confirming their identity as the Rainbow Butterflies, officially welcomed as honored guests. Makina and his companions arrive last, with him sheepishly apologizing while the others absorb the atmosphere around them. 2 armored knights greet them with formality, welcoming them on behalf of the Island Dragon and expressing gratitude for their attendance. The knights gesture toward a door, instructing the group to move inside as the next step of their reception. Inside, Machina gazes in awe at the lively city built atop the massive creature, marveling at the impossible sight. Their escorts calmly lead them onward, assuring the group that they will first be taken to the guild. Arya rushes ahead, delighted by the food stalls, while Stella is caught off guard by the sudden excitement. Baloney scolds them, reminding everyone to uphold the pride of the Rainbow Butterflies Guild. The group arrives at an imposing building marked with the guild's emblem, signaling their destination. Inside, the hall is filled with adventurers from different places, creating a bustling atmosphere. Arya marvels at the immense size of the guild hall, noting it might rival or even surpass their own guild scale. The group notices all the invitees are skilled adventurers, each with a strong aura, and they're given a number tag to wait. A graceful woman arrives with a knight, instantly commanding attention. She introduces herself as Lysana, head of the Asgard family, and apologizes for the delay. The group is shocked, knowing the Asgards are a powerful noble family tied to royalty and the Island Dragon's resources. Lysana then begins explaining the different areas of the Island Dragon. The Island Dragon is divided into two halves, a residential area and an exploration zone. The exploration zone is split into three: the grasslands, the underground waterways, and the dangerous mining area. Machina shows interest in the mining zone. Belpham declares himself the examiner, the one who decides which areas the adventurers may enter. He is introduced as Belpham, the Sand Dust, a powerful and respected figure. The group realizes his identity by his white hair and massive sword, though Machina himself doesn't know who Belpham is. Belpham, known as the Sand Dust, is introduced as a legendary adventurer, revered by everyone who knows his name. He explains the rules of the test. No one will attack directly, but he will judge based on how participants attack him, ensuring fairness. The adventurers are told they will be tested in the order of their entry numbers and must choose one representative per party. The group receives their number, and Belpham announces that he looks forward to witnessing their performance. At the guild's indoor training grounds, the tests begin, and the knights call for the next participant to step forward. Belpham tests a group, but limits them to the upper levels. Other parties fail to qualify for the mining area. Machina's team is finally called, nervous but ready. They step forward, determined under everyone's gaze. Belpham notices their Rainbow Butterflies badge, and Machina accepts the challenge. The crowd recognizes the group as the Rainbow Butterflies, famous for defeating the Shadow Demons with only 4 members. Belpham singles them out, declaring he doesn't like them at all, shocking Machina. He complains about Machina being surrounded by pretty girls, calling the group unbalanced like a harem. The girls react with mixed feelings, while Lysana is shocked at Belpham's behavior. Belpham reveals his resentment, saying he sacrificed his youth to training, never even holding a girl's hand, and despises Machina for living what he sees as an easier, enviable life. Machina steps forward, determined to prove himself, saying he only needs recognition for entry into the mining area. Belpham mocks him, calling him all talk, but Machina readies his weapon, summoning the interweaved war snakes. Nidhogg. Surprised, Belpham realizes Machina isn't just a swordsman, but also a tonfa user. Belpham boasts about his royal Fong armor, claiming it can block any attack, while Baloney explains its strength. Confident, Machina smirks, revealing he knows how to both craft and destroy that armor, as the test begins. Machina's friends worry about his lack of motivation, but his calm walk forward hides a powerful aura that even Belpham immediately senses. In an instant, Machina closes the distance with shocking speed, forcing Belpham to realize this boy is far from ordinary. Machina strikes with overwhelming force, breaking through the legendary armor and stunning everyone present. He reveals that his weapon, Nidhogg, carries the blessing of pulverization, capable of destroying any defense, no matter how strong. Belpham is left defeated on the ground, while Machina sighs, admitting he went overboard once again. The old warrior, now bandaged, acknowledges Makina's strength and declares they passed the trial. Makina apologizes for going too far, while Belfamp sits battered and exhausted, showing the toll of the fight. Lysana scolds Belfamp for embarrassing the Asgard Order, while also clarifying Makina doesn't need to apologize. Belfamp humbly admits he underestimated them and apologizes to the whole group. Lysana also apologizes for her retainer's rudeness, but Makina's group reassures her that they don't mind. Lysana humbly bows, but the rainbow butterflies tell her to raise her head, insisting they were chosen for their friendliness. The group reassures her not to worry, noting Makina avenged them during the trial. Others comment that Belfamp's defeat in a single blow was punishment enough and that he got what he deserved. Stella points out the truth bluntly, while Belfamp sits in despair, admitting his glory days are behind him. Makina then notices a picture of Belfamp's past triumph, where he defeated a massive beast called Growlkonga. Makina looks puzzled at the picture, but Belfamp explains it was a great Growlkonga, a much stronger class than normal ones. Makina recalls he had already fought creatures like that, similar to the group of Growlkongas he defeated before. He explains he found them halfway up Abyss Mountain while testing the Club of Destruction Damocles. The group falls silent, shocked by his words, while Belfamp doesn't understand their reaction. Beloni clarifies that normal Growlkongas are smaller and different, meaning Makina unknowingly defeated an entire group of great Growlkongas, stunning everyone. Congratulations are given as the rainbow butterflies are granted access to all exploration areas, including the mining area. The group celebrates with excitement. Makina explains his interest in minerals and ores, showing that he wanted to explore the mining area from the start. Beloni proudly reveals that Makina made all their weapons, impressing Lysana with his blacksmith skills. Makina then agrees to repair Belfamp's broken Royal Fong armor, showing his ability to restore equipment. He activates his blacksmith skill, casting repair, leaving everyone in awe as the armor begins to mend before their eyes. Makina repairs the armor with ease, impressing everyone by restoring it in seconds. Belfamp is overwhelmed with gratitude, thrilled to see his Royal Fong armor completely restored. Lysana is amazed and declares herself a fan of Makina after witnessing his skills. The group is honored and told to rest well, with lodging prepared for their adventure the next day. Meanwhile, the ruins of the Silver Wings Guild show a fallen state, leaving only bitterness behind. The angry man laments the fall of his guild, blaming the rainbow butterflies for taking the spot that should have been his. Nearby, a cloaked boy quietly watches, hiding in the shadows until he's spotted. Startled, both of them demand to know who the other is. The man explodes, claiming the place as his guild and shouting for the boy to leave. Shocked, the boy realizes the man is a former Silver Wing and apologizes frantically. A boy recalls hearing that the Silver Wing Guild had been abolished after a series of repeated failures. Panicking, he blurts out that he thought the place was empty and only wanted to stay for the night. Suddenly, the man before him erupts with a violent outburst, leaving the boy terrified. With fury in his eyes, the man spits out his hatred, blaming Makina for everything that went wrong. Stunned, the boy realizes the truth. This man is none other than Flame Sword Joodle. The boy introduces himself as Nicole, explaining he came from a distant frontier town but had long heard of the Silver Wing Guild and Flame Sword Joodle. Excited, he pleads to witness the legendary sword, certain this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Joodle immediately refuses. Shocked, Nicole asks why. With a dark expression, Joodle declares the sword was stolen. Consumed by rage, he shouts that Makina was the thief, claiming the blacksmith betrayed them after being cast out. To him, Makina was nothing but a worthless traitor. Joodle rages that Makina is the reason Silver Wing fell, claiming the boy now wields the flame sword as an adventurer with the Rainbow Butterfly Guild. Nicole freezes at the name, suddenly realizing how much danger he's actually in. He admits the truth. He had left home to become an adventurer, but unknowingly joined the Dark Guild. Joodle, unfazed, brushes him off and focuses only on his meal, acting as if nothing else matters. But chaos erupts when a monster appears, stealing his meat, leaving him screaming in outrage and panic. Nicole realizes the beast before them is actually a wyvern. With determination, he volunteers to handle it himself. Activating his rare thief skill, he boldly claims he'll steal the meat back from the wyvern. The ability works, yet all it brings back is a bare bone. Deflated, Nicole admits his failure, while Judel explodes in anger, shouting that he only made it easier for the wyvern to eat. Then Nicole notices a strange mark on the wyvern's neck. Shocked, he realizes it comes from Dragon Island, meaning they could ride it straight to the legendary island dragon. Judel declares they'll use the wyvern to infiltrate Dragon Island and forces Nicole to come along. He insists that with Nicole's skills, reclaiming the flame sword and rebuilding Silverwing would be effortless. Nicole protests, recalling his failures and how others mock him. But Judel urges him to forget what anyone thinks. To seal the deal, Judel promises Nicole the title of vice president in his rebuilt guild, even offering to take care of his ties with the Dark Guild. Overwhelmed, Nicole accepts, calling him boss. Together, they take off on the wyvern, as Judel vows vengeance on Machina and the rainbow butterflies, swearing their downfall is near.